Hi. Hey guys. So we'll get started in a little bit. Just let everybody kind of hop on. All right. We're waiting. So we're just gonna give it a few more minutes and see if anybody else joins us, guys. So hang tight. I have a feeling that we've got some things mixed up here, guys. Let me check really quick. Oh, in the right place. Okay, we'll wait just a little bit longer. We'll give it until 6:15 because we passed out a ton of packets. So let's see.
Oh, here it is.
guys. There's everybody. Awesome. All right, and you guys are on live. Perfect. We'll give it 3 more minutes and then we'll get started. So for those of you that got our packages, our supply packets, just remember you also need some water, a small cup of water to clean your brushes with, and some paper towels or a napkin or a washcloth, something that you can clean your dry your brushes on, and not to worry. This is all acrylic paint, so it's pretty. It washes pretty good. So if you use a dish towel, it won't stain it. Yeah. All right. Okay. Hi, guys. So welcome to another Dana's Delicacies. It's so nice to see some new faces. Very excited that you guys have decided to join us. And anytime during this whole thing, if you have a question or want a closer look, let me know. I will zoom in and I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. So right now, this is what we'll be painting. And put a little closer. So it was a nice cloudy day. Took the picture by the pond and decided, yay, let's paint the end. So yeah, we're gonna get started on this. And make sure that you have your paints, of course, a couple brushes. You're also going to need a little cup of water to wash your paints with, to wash your brushes with, and some paper towels or napkin or a washcloth, something that you can dry them off with. And of course, if you have a paper plate or just anything that you can mix colors on, you know, definitely have a couple things handy. In our packets, we had some tongue depressors that you could use. If you don't have a palette knife or anything like that, you can always use the end of your brush to mix. That always works too. All right, let's get started on this painting, guys. So, I'll move that over here. And I don't know if you guys can see, but you're on YouTube. Hi. All right. Okay. So first things first, we want to put our face down. And I'm not very technical So if you're an art student and I use the wrong term, don't kill me. I like words like mush and smush and squish. Okay, so I'm going to do something very similar to what I did on the painting that I just showed you. Now, if you want a different background, go for it. If you want to make yours look like a sunset, our beautiful Socorro sunsets, go for it. If you want a bright sunshiny day, whatever color, whatever type of sky you want to have on your painting, make it happen. So the painting, the picture that I took of that day was nice and kind of a cloudy day. It was not too long ago when we were having all that wind and rain. Yay, Socorro, right? So I'm going to make mine look a little, just a little grayish. We've done a lot of color on all our Danish delicacies. So I'm going to make this a little more monotone. So I'm going to start with my sponge brush, and I'm not going to wet it. I'm just going in with a dry brush. I like to dry brush things a lot of time. And I'm just going to start with the sky up top, and I'm going to cover the whole top half of my canvas. I've already mixed my paint. So if you didn't have a light blue, grab some white and a little bit of blue, mix them together. You can mix them together on your plate like I did, or you can put some blue and white on your brush, mix it on as you spread it on. You'll get some really cool streaks going on. We're just being creative. Everything works. Having a good time and getting some paint on our fingers and hopefully on our canvas. So I'm just putting this on nice and thick. You can go lighter and have it a little streaky. It's up to you. But I'm going to cover all that white. All right. So I have the top part of my canvas already painted. So let's see here. How's everybody doing? Getting there, getting there. Awesome. So let everybody get their sky down. And then we'll move on to our water. I can already tell we're gonna have some really cool skies. Hmm. All right. So now we're going to paint the water. We're going to leave a section in the middle, just plain white, so that way we don't have to worry about anything drying. And so I am just going to use almost that same color. So I have my blue, and I'm just going to pull in a little bit more of the regular blue along with that light blue that I mixed. So that way my water is just a little bit darker than my sky. So I'm just going to leave a space. This is just going to be my base. And I'm not really mixing these really a lot on my plate, so you can see that I've got some nice color variation going on. It's like just a natural laying it gradient down and mix together as I lay them on the canvas. And so I have to lift mine up. All right. So you can see this is a little bit darker, this is a little bit lighter. And of course, we're going to have some shadows and stuff thrown in. So this is just our base. So now, once everybody gets their base down, then we're going to have some fun and get our mountains down. Looking good.
Oh.
All right. Okay. So now that we've got our sky and our pond, we're going to start with our mountains. And so I'm going to start with black, and then we'll build on it there. So I'm using my brush, scrub brush again. I just tapped it off a little bit on my paper towel. I haven't put water on it or anything. So you kind of gauge where you want to see your M. If you want it right in the middle, put it right in the middle, front and center. For me, I like having things kind of on the side a little bit. I'm not big on everything being so symmetrical. So what we're just going to do is kind of just do a slash right where we want the M mountain. So I just made a nice simple slash. And then of course we want Strawberry Hill on the side, right? So we're going to do another little slash where we want to see Strawberry Hill. And then we've got our other ridge, which is really small ridge, this right here. So we've got 3 little slashes. And then from there, I'm just going to finish those up. And they're just triangles. I'm just making triangles right now. Now this one is a little funky. It's just a little irregular. And tell me that doesn't look familiar, right? So once we've got this far, we're just going to start filling it in a little bit. So you can take your black, and from that corner, I just want you to pull it down. We're just going to pull it down from right to left. And we're just putting on a nice base. Now I'm not going past where I put the white. I left it white. And then putting on a very light base. So you can still see my sky underneath. So I'm going to build this up with different colors. Now, if you wanted to just have the silhouette and do it black, like especially if you're doing a sunset, so you're doing a sunset, the sun's going to be behind your mountains, and it's going to be, they'll be beautiful and dark in the shadow of a sunset. So think about that as you're doing this on a bright sunny day. We can see the towers. So just think about when you're walking to class or driving around town and you look up and you see the mountains in the distance and you see what they look like. You can even just take a peek outside and get a feel for what you want this to look like. Our beautiful mountains here. And so once you've got this kind of brushed in a little bit and have a nice simple base, we don't want it too solid unless you are doing a silhouette. Just because we want to make sure we can put some other colors on it and not have them completely obscured with the blue, with the black, sorry. Okay. So once this is done, once you've got your background on your mountains, go ahead and rinse off your brush. And I'm actually going to switch mine out because I'm very hard on those sponge brushes. So you can rinse off your sponge brush and squeegee it off with your paper towel. See how everybody's doing. Now, if you have your own supplies at home and you're using a nice, big, beautiful brush, awesome. Just make sure it's nice and dry and everything's off. But I'm going to stick with the sponge brush for this. And for those of you that got the wrong link, I do apologize. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'm very glad that you can join us on YouTube. Yeah, we will have to figure out what happened there at a future point. But yeah, for now, let's keep going. So now I'm going to put my beautiful grassy hill right in front. So I did take this not too long ago. The golf course was nice and light. So I mixed myself some light green, and that's what I'm going to use for the grass right now. So I'm just going to grab a whole bunch, and on this little white space that I have, I'm just going to lay that on. So depending on what colors your sky, what you decided your sky is going to look like, you might want to do, a dark golf course with some dark green on here. Or maybe even like a purplish hue. You can even do bluegrass. It all works. So I have the base for all three of my things right now. I've got my pond, I've got my grass, and I've got my mountains. So now we're going to start building on our mountains once you're done with putting your grass on. So I've got some dark blue that I mixed already. So just put a tiny little bit of black, mixed it up with some blue. I've got some gray as well that I, took a little bit of white, a little bit of black, mixed it together. And so those are the main colors I'm going to use on my mountains. And I'm going to switch from my sponge brush, which I'm going to rinse off just to make sure it stays nice and soft. And I'm going to take my medium brush. So I think we did give you guys a medium brush in the paint kit. So it's about that big. This one's a 1/4. So anywhere like that would work fine. And I'm just going to start building on my mountains and kind of softening my points. So I'm going to start with this dark blue that I mixed earlier. So it's like almost a gray blue, I want to say. And I'm just going to start pulling that again on that angle. I'm pulling it right and I'm pulling it down to my left. And I want to fill in. This basically color by number right now. So I'm just going to start building all this up. And pulling it down. I'm going to soften that a little bit because Strawberry Hill is a little softer. So I rounded the top just a little bit. And I'm just filling that in. And I'm going to do the same up here. I just start pulling it down. I start my brush right here and pull it down at an angle. I'm kind of softening that tip as well, so that way the peak isn't so apparent. It looks a little more natural. I want that line to be solid. So just running that there to cover that up. And so you can see I've got some of the black that peeks through. And that's what I want, so that way I have different colors peeking through. I'm going to pull this more this way. And I think I'm going to extend this just a little bit. I want them a little closer together. So we get that little canyon right there. The one that runs right along that line. And so just keep building that up. You can round off the top of your peak a little bit. And just keep filling them in. And again, you can use whatever colors you like. Make it whatever time of day. And we have a couple other ridges coming up on this side. So I'm going to rinse my brush off, and I'm going to start with some highlights. Since I've got a nice dark base, I want to add some highlights so that way we can see the ridges. And again, this is just all nice and impressionist. We're not, I mean, you can totally go realistic on this painting. If you want to pull up a painting, a photograph or something of the mountain, but just kind of using my imagination, my memory, from all the beautiful times that I've sat there and watched the sunset. Just peeked up at our gorgeous, gorgeous mountains. So I'm gonna get some gray, and I've got a wet brush, which doesn't happen very often, but I've got a wet brush. So I'm kind of doing like a really light wash with the gray. So I've got my gray here, and it's very liquidy. And I'm just going to kind of pull it down. I know we've got one right there. And kind of give that a little highlight. Maybe you guys can see that. And I'm gonna do the same thing. And we know that looking at the mountain, it kind of has this little plateau right here at the base. I'm pulling that down just a little bit. I'm gonna do the same thing on this other one. Just gonna get the water, kind of wet my brush with the paint on it so that way it's not so kind of smudge it a little bit. And I'll also use my finger on occasion. Kind of soften those lines. And add those little hills that are right in front, right, heading on up to the top. I'm holding my brush really, really light and just kind of I've only been up on the mountain once. No, actually, that's a lie. I've been up a couple of times. Once while we were shooting the documentary for the History Channel, and once for the run. So I do remember there was a lot of ridges. I'm just using that gray to highlight a couple areas. And it might not be exact because we're working from memory here. And so I want those lines to be a little softer from what I'm seeing. I kind of have to angle a little bit because the light is very bright. So I'm just going to go with a brush that I've already cleaned off. Doesn't have anything on it. And I'm just going to kind of run some water along these and kind of move that paint around just a little bit. Blend it just a tad. So that way all my lines aren't too defined. I want them a little smudged. That is the best way to do it. Just re-wet your paint. And so you can see it's softening up my highlights here and kind of blending it in with the blue and the black that I have on the background. And just keep working it until you get it to a point that you're happy with and that feels right for you. There is no wrong in art. And again, I try to pick something that works for everybody. So if you're just starting out, this is a nice, simple piece that you can start out with and get your feet wet if you're not comfortable painting on canvas. Or if you are like a couple of my veterans here, you can really get into detail and go all out on these mountains and, you know, add your lights and your shadows and your creosote and all the different foliage that we have on the mountains. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop on my mountains right now because I'm just going to keep on going. And I'm going to start on my tree line. So I'm going to use the same brush that I was using. It's just my nice little medium-sized brush. And I'm going to start. So I'm going to start adding shrubs here. And I'm going to use some dark green. darker than what I have here on the base for my green. So I'm just going to start by building this up. Just kind of mushing the paint on here. You guys can see that. So starting out with my tree line, and I'm just going to use my greens and add some trees. And I'm just smushing, smushing, smushing. So some of them were shrubs, some of them were actually trees. But for right now, I'm just going to start smushing, smushing, smushing. See that? Now, I might throw in a light tree here and there, just to kind of break up this dark bunch. I may even put a little bit of yellow on that. And then continue. Yeah.
How are the strawberries?
And so you can mix up your colors if you want more of a yellowy green, or if you're doing this all in silhouette. You have some beautiful burgundy and magenta trees going on. But these evergreens. So I could end up just smushing all the way across, but you see I'm doing them like one shrub at one tree at a time. And that's just so that way I have keep a little bit of separation between the tops. And one thing that I forgot to add to my picture was the little pump house that is somewhere where was it? Somewhere right here. So I might save that spot for the little pump house. And just do a couple of little trees. And these are just little smushes. I'm not getting deep into detail right now. I just want to get the base of these all down first. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to this. So that way it doesn't look exactly like our green in the grass area. Here. Right in front. And then go back. There we go, color. And you can mix different tones, different colors, so that way you have a variation of green for your trees and your shrubs. So let's pull away a little bit. So I've got my tree line going on. And I'm going to do my little red pump house right here. So I'm going to rinse off this brush. And I mix myself a little bit of red with a little bit of burnt umber. Give me a little bit of a darker color. And I'm just gonna make a little box. Because that's pretty much what it looks like. It's a little box. And so I'm just gonna make sure that that is nice and solid. So we got this. And let's see, how's everybody doing? So make sure you got your trees all up. And once you are ready to move on, I'll give you, so those of you that are much faster than us, just give us a second. We'll catch up. Now I want to add a little bit of distinction to our grass right here. The sun was kind of overhead, but a little bit closer to the mountains that day. So I want to just put a light kind of shadow. And I'm just going to take that light green that I have and mix a little bit of the regular green in there with it and just make something in between. And so I have that on my brush, and then I'm going to dip my brush in water. So that way that paint gets wet. So it's basically going to do like this wash on my grass. If you've ever painted furniture and you want that kind of rustic look, you want to do a wash. So you can tell that's like nice and dripping. It's really saturated. I'm just going to kind of brush it on here and follow my tree line a little bit. I've got some trees that are further back. I got a couple that are a little bit closer to the water. At the ends, it all kind of curve. And that's going to give me that shadow look without a lot of fuss or muss. And since that's wet, I'm just going to brush it on in. And so it's noticeable and it's not. This is very similar. And I'm going to bring it all the way up to my trees. Used to have that light grass peeking through. Woohoo. Yeah. So from there, we're going to move to our water. And for our water, we're going to do the same thing that we did before with wetting our brush. This time, I'm actually going to switch to my sponge, the sponge brush that we were using before. And I'm going to wet it, not all the way, because of course it's a sponge, but we're going to wet it halfway. And I'm going to grab just basic blue and make sure it's nice and kind of watery. So I'm just making sure it's nice and watery. So we've got this really light blue here. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing that I did here with this wash. I'm going to start right at my water space and kind of just pull that down a little bit. I'm just kind of shimmying my brush back and forth. Let me focus here a little bit. So I'm just taking that brush and kind of smushing it along there. So that way I get these kind of ripples. And you can go from the bottom to the top, or go from the top to the bottom. But it's just a wet sponge with some water in it. Giving that just a tiny bit of contrast. Like I said, that day it was really windy. So the water was really moving. I'm just kind of mushing things around. Making little ripples in the water. Out just a little bit. That's nice and ripply. So let me know if you have any questions. Right now I'm just trying to define my little coastline just a little bit. And just play with this until you feel like those ripples are exactly how you want them. And then you can go ahead and clean off your sponge brush. So I'm letting this dry for just a little bit because Mine's wet. I don't know how yours looks, but mine is actually pretty soaked. So, and the nice thing is that acrylics dry really fast. So I just give it just a minute and this should start to dry out. And then we can move on to some detail work. So once you're ready, it's time for our M. We're gonna do some other detail work, so let's get the nice bright white M out of our way. So small brush, smallest you've got. And let's paint our M. So you guys know where it goes. And I made mine nice and big. It's definitely not to scale, but I love seeing that M up there. So. So once you've got that done, we're going to get a little more detail on our trees. And you can add more detail to your mountains if you want. I mean, you can add the towers on the side or, whatever you want to do, you can go for it. I'm going to add some, I'm going to add some trunks to my trees. Where's my burnt ember? Okay, so I'm going to use my burnt ember. And I'm going to add some, I just need a tiny, tiny bit. I'm just going to add some trunks to my trees and then go over them again with a little more detail on the branches. So I'm using my tiniest brush.
You got your phone? Okay.
Add a little bit of
On shit.
let's see, I'll pull this closer. You can kind of get a feel of what I'm doing here. So I'm just adding some branches and some trunks right on top of the bases that I've already put there. It doesn't need a lot. And some of them I've just put the trunks. So whatever goes right for you. And once I've got all those in, I'm going to rinse off my small brush again. And so you can do this a couple of ways. I'm going to put a little bit more detail into my my little trees and my shrubs here. I have a fan brush, which you can use if you have one. If you don't have one, don't even worry about it. I was thinking we could use Q-tips. If you have Q-tip, go for it. It's really fun to use Q-tips. It's a lot of work, and these are really small, so it might not come out as great as when we've done other projects in the past. But right now, I am just going to use my little brush that I've been using. And I'm going to grab a number of colors. So I'm grabbing some regular green. And at the same time, I'm going to grab some of the light green. And for fun, I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow. So they're all on my brush. They are not mixed. Ooh, there's the camera. So I've got all three colors on my brush and they're not mixed. So I'm going to do this, and we're gonna get some interesting little leaves here. So let's start on this side. And just right over my trunk, I'm just going to start dabbing. So I'm not gonna try to cover my trunk, but I'm just gonna dab a little bit over it. So just poking. If you can see that. And I'm gonna do that for all of my trees. I might just grab 2 of the colors and just go in with some yellow and some dark green. Yeah, I got some really dark green that's almost black. I'm just gonna let those colors mix as I put them on the canvas and give some cool little gradients there. And you can always mix more. You know, if you want to do like a black and some green, you can mix those 2 up and see what you get on canvas. That's the fun part about this, is when you just grab the 2 colors, you really don't know what it's gonna look like. You can grab some white, some pink. You know, we've got everything's blooming right now. We've got some pretty blossoms on the trees. So just grab colors and just start mushing them on there. And you know, the little dots that you're making, that once you mush them up, they really do look a lot like the leaves that are just blowing in the wind. So every now and then, step back a little bit, kind of look at your picture. It'll help give you a little better perspective and show you different areas where you might want to add a little bit more, make things a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. Always pause for just a second. like I said, I'm not exactly covering the trunks that I put in there. I'm going over them in a little bit, but you can still see them poking through. And that's kind of what you want.
Change the
So you can just finish putting that detail in all through your trees. If you wanted to add some detail to your pump house, if you put your pump house in, you can add, most of the pump houses have the terracotta roofs and those real pretty decorative elements. So I've got that done. And I think along, I'm not gonna rinse my brush, but along the edge of the pond, I think I want to add a little bit of high grass. So I'm going to mix a little bit of my regular green and that really light green. And I'm just gonna kind of give myself a little border there. And I'm gonna angle it different ways. Just kind of flatten things out. Yeah. Run that along that side right there. And a little bit touch, a little bit of green, darker green, get a little patchy. Every once in a while, I'm adding a little darker green. I'm just kind of spiking and smushing it out right there. along the edge of the water. Just giving the pond a little bit of a border. Mhm. They've got a little bit of a grassy border around. So you can put ducks in the water if you'd like. I'm gonna rinse this brush out. Brush. You're definitely gonna want your small detail brush if you want to put some ducks in the water. Or geese. Yeah, I don't like those guys. That day, there were definitely ducks in the water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab and rinse out my small brush. And I'm going to grab some burnt umber. So I have my burnt umber on my small brush. And for my duck, I'm just going to, I think I'm going to do them over here on the side. Just kind of right a little bit in front of the pump house. And start by just making an oval that's been flattened on the bottom a little bit. Just like that. And then right above that, a nice little circle. That's the making of my duck. Then we're going to connect those two. And then give them a little beak. So I'm going to make a couple of those. I might make a couple smaller ones here. Just a few little baby ducks kind of following behind their mom. So it's just a flattened oval and a circle, and then you just connect them. That's all it is. So if we want, we can put another one going that way. And so that would just make an almond shape. The other circle. You can have this feathers kind of. You can put however many ducks you want, or geese, or we've got those cute little turkey ducks going on in your water. So I've got my cute little shadow ducks here, and of course they're making ripples. So I'm going to add a couple of ripples to my water. So I'm going to take my medium brush, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of gray, and I'm going to just get some water and make it and do a wash again. So that way it's nice and watery. And I'm just going to kind of make a little bit of a ripple line right underneath where my little ducks are coming from. So kicking up a little tiny bit of syrup. And you see how they're kind of heading that way. And if it's too bright for you and you want to soften those lines, just wipe your brush off, add some water. And like I said, it was windy for me that day, so I might just come up here and add a few little waves and ripples. Highlight those that I've already added before. And so this is just like I said, I've got some gray, but it's really diluted with water. So and you can keep layering this over and over and adding more and more and more. That's the great thing about acrylics is you can let it dry for a few seconds and then add another color, another layer, another layer, another layer. Now, that's pretty much it. This is fairly simple painting. It's all in the details. So the more details you put, the more complex your painting is going to be. So it's up to you. I hope you guys have fun with this. If there's anything else, any questions you have, anything you want to add, I'd love to see your paintings. So once you guys are done, hold them up to your camera so we can take a look. And unmute yourself because definitely want to see them.
Do you have like a suggestion for how to do clouds?
Yeah. So I would take that medium brush or sponge brush. The sponge brush is actually really good for this because it's got that sharp edge. And for me, dip it in the water a little bit. So my clouds would most likely be a light gray. So I would get some of that white and maybe some of that really light gray that I did the wash with. And you're going to want to start out with them as a line.
Write name on it.
So you're going to want to start out with lines, and then you're going to build up from there. So you're going to go upward.
I created a signature.
So you definitely want the bottom to be flat. So all clouds are flat on the bottom. And these are nice and wispy. You can make them really round and rolling, these beautiful rolling clouds. Those ones are always gorgeous.
Oh, that's good.
So
Or unmuted.
whatever type of cloud that you want to put on there. And you can kind of brush them over the mountaintop.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, clouds are fun. And one of these days, maybe we'll do one that's just all clouds. Yeah. Do some little kitty angels in the clouds or something.
Okay, Dana, are you ready to see my masterpiece?
I am ready to see your masterpiece. Let's have it.
Okay, I'm
Ooh,
gonna show you mine, and then my aunt's gonna show you hers. So that's mine.
I love it. I love that. Oh, that sunset is so pretty. Ooh.
And Mary?
And there. Nice. Oh, I love it. I love that. Oh my gosh.
So
It
I've
was-
decided I'm a much better artist with a sponge than a brush.
You know, the sponge, it's very forgiving.
Yeah.
It totally is. I'm very hard on my sponge brushes. So you know, the first one I was using is it's gone. It's dead. I've already.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much.
Take much. But they are and the angles that they have, they're really great. I sponge brushes just don't get enough credit, in my opinion. Anybody else want to show their picture? And next, the next one, I don't know yet. I think we're going to do it a little bit earlier in May. So maybe we can make it some kind of fun Mother's Day thing. But we're going, I want to do the Q-tip painting again. So Q-tips are really, really fun, and they're very forgiving. So I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see how that one works out, because that's always a fun painting. And it's spring. I mean, we can do flowers. Awesome. Anybody else have any questions? Hi, Amanda.
Hi. I actually did my painting with my family. And my mom and dad want me to show theirs. So this is my mom's.
Nice. Oh, I love the water.
And this one was my dad's.
Oh, those details are awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. And then I ended up doing a sunset on mine.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love your. Oh, your
Thank you.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it. I love
Thanks
it.
for doing these. They're so fun. I always enjoy them.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And we're going to try to keep doing them, I think, next semester too. So you guys just, stay tuned so we can we can have some more painting fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
We love that. This has been super fun. Go ahead. Okay. So this is mine.
Ooh. Oh, I love your clouds. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so, oh, I love that. I love that. I love that you put the moon. Was that the moon or the sun in the back?
It's like a nice moon picture too. Yeah, I can be the moon. It was feeling kind of springy.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love your mountain. I love your mountain. You can totally see all the ridges. Gorgeous.
Work in progress.
No, they all come out so beautiful. And everybody has a different kind of feel and a different take on them. I love it. I love it. That's what this is all about. Especially right now, the semester's coming to a close. Everybody's stressed out. It's nice to just take a break and get artsy fartsy for a few minutes.
It's really nice.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing it.
I'll hopefully see you guys next time. If not, definitely.
We'll be here.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Hi.
Hi, Jane.
We have a couple others to show. There's 3 of us here.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Oh,
So
no.
it's a little offset.
No, I love that.
I went for a sunset style.
Oh, you guys did. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
And then I got this one with the little duckies.
I love the ducks. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you guys. Oh, wow. I love it. I love the ducks. No.
It's a little offset.
No, I love that.
I went for a sunset style.
Oh, you guys did. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
And then I got this one with the little duckies.
I love the ducks. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love green. Oh, that's so great. Oh, that is so cool. I love it. I love it. That's gorgeous. Oh, you guys did. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
I got this one with the little duckies.
I love yours. That color is so dramatic.
This is mine. I did mine. Let me see if I can get it.
Yeah. That is so cool. I love it. I love it. Your color is so dramatic. Really pop. Yours, that color is so dramatic.
This is mine. I did mine. Let me see if I can get it.
Yeah. That is so cool. I love your green. I love your green. Oh my gosh. Your color is so dramatic.
This was so much fun. Thank you. I had a great time.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. And
I had a little trouble mixing my colors. It was a little bit dark, but
they came out so good though. I mean, it really, really stands out. The, dark colors didn't really stand out. They
well,
look
thank you. This was fun. I'll be watching for the next one that we do.
all right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I hope to see you all on the next one. Like I said, keep your eye out. We'll be shooting emails every now and again, and it'll definitely be in the Miners Weekly Blast. Yeah, have a good end of the semester, and don't stress, have some fun, get some sleep, drink lots of water, try not to stress so much. Thank you guys, and I will see everybody on the next one.